Imagine holding a small silver-colored disc in your hand, a coin worth just 25 cents, but carrying the weight of a story that stretches back through centuries of exploration, ambition, and cultural identity, the Alaska State Quarter released. In 2008, as part of the United States Mint's legendary 50 State Quarters program, is more than a piece of change. It is a gateway into the history of America's largest state, a land defined by untamed wilderness, immense natural resources, and a story of survival and perseverance that resonates with the very spirit of the nation. The coin itself portrays a powerful design, a grizzly bear clutching a salmon in its jaws, framed by the icy peaks and untamed landscapes of Alaska. And beneath, that image lies not only a tribute to the state's breathtaking environment, but also to its people and its history. The choice of the grizzly bear was deliberate, symbolizing both the power and resilience of Alaska, and the salmon representing the state's dependence on natural resources and the intricate balance of life that sustains its communities. To truly understand the significance of the Alaska Quarter, we need to step back into the origins of the 50 State Quarters program, when the United States Mint launched the initiative in 1999. It was not simply about producing coins, it was about creating a historic journey through the symbols, values, and identities of each state. Alaska's turn came in 2008, one of the final years of the program, and it immediately stood out for its bold imagery. While many state quarters highlighted architecture or historical figures, Alaska chose a living embodiment of raw nature, a bear in action, emphasizing the frontier identity that has long been central to how the state is seen and how it sees itself. But the story of Alaska's quarter is deeply intertwined with the broader history of the state itself, stretching back to the Russian colonial era, the purchase of Alaska from Russia. In 1867, known as Seward's Folly, the Klondike Gold Rush of the 1890s, and the eventual statehood granted in 1959, every chapter of Alaska's past carried with it the same themes we see echoed in the quarter: rugged land, harsh conditions, vast resources, and people determined to endure in one of the most unforgiving but rewarding regions on Earth. The grizzly bear has always been a symbol of that narrative, a creature that dominates its environment, yet relies on the cycles of nature for survival. The release of the Alaska Quarter was more than just a numismatic event. It was a cultural milestone for the state. It gave Alaskans a chance to present their image to the entire nation. Every quarter carried into circulation across the 50 states, and beyond became a small ambassador of Alaska, showcasing the balance between strength and sustenance, between predator and prey, between humans and their environment. The coin was minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver facilities, with millions of examples struck for circulation, and additional collector versions produced in both clad and silver-proof formats. The release sparked interest among collectors not only for its striking design, but also because it represented one of the final issues in a program that had captivated the American public for nearly a decade. When discussing the Alaska Quarter, one must also consider the design process itself. The United States Mint engaged in an extensive collaboration with state officials, artists, historians, and the general public to decide which symbols would best reflect Alaska's heritage. Several designs were considered, including imagery of the dog, sled of fishermen, and iconic landscapes, but ultimately, the grizzly bear and salmon prevailed because of their powerful symbolism and immediate recognition. The final design was created by artist Charles Vickers, whose ability to capture dynamic motion in a static coin engraving made the Alaska Quarter one of the most visually striking coins of the entire series. To dive deeper into the historical significance of the Alaska Quarter, we can look at the role of salmon in Alaskan culture and economy. Salmon is not merely a food source. It is a keystone species upon which entire ecosystems depend. Indigenous peoples of Alaska have relied on salmon for thousands of years, developing sustainable fishing practices and cultural traditions that continue to this day. With the arrival of industrial fishing in the 20th century, Salmon became both a contested resource and an economic lifeline. Its representation on the quarter underscores the intimate connection between people and nature in Alaska, much as the grizzly bear does with its sheer dominance of the land collectors. And historians alike have recognized the Alaska Quarter as one of the most memorable issues of the entire 50-state quarters program. Its combination of artistry, historical resonance, and symbolic power makes it a subject of fascination and study. Whether one looks at the mintage figures, the variations between Philadelphia and Denver, issues the proof versions struck in San Francisco, or the broader context of coin collecting in the early 21st century, the Alaska Quarter consistently draws attention and admiration. And so this small coin, a simple piece of currency, continues to tell a grand story. Whenever it changes hands, it carries with it the imagery of a bear locked in the eternal struggle for survival and a salmon representing renewal, sustenance, and the fragile balance of nature for numismatists, historians, and casual observers alike. The Alaska Quarter is a perfect example of how coins are never just money. They are miniature monuments to history, culture, and identity. And to explore the details of this coin, its design, its symbolism, its place in the state quarter program, and its reflection of Alaskan heritage is to embark on a journey as vast and rewarding as the land it honors, a journey that we will now unfold, layer by layer, as we trace the Alaska Quarter from its origins to its impact and the lasting legacy it has secured in the story of American coinage.